Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the highest rated books on my TBR. I have 5 on my list, and I basically just set it up so that it would be books that have more than 100,000 ratings on Goodreads, and then I just filtered that by the highest ratings, like actual star rating. So this is a video that I've seen going around. I first saw this video on Cass's channel from What Cass Read, and then I also saw April from Getting Higgle With It did a video, and recently Olive from A Book Olive did a similar video to this where she talked about the most popular books on her TBR. And I just think that it's a really fun way to look at your TBR differently. I was really curious to see which books got the most ratings, and of those books that got the most ratings, which ones were the highest rated. And also I wanted to know if I had any of those sitting on my shelves. So out of the 5 on my list, I own 2 books, which isn't bad. The other ones I hope to get to eventually, either from the library, or I might end up having to buy one of these, and I'll go into that when I get to that one on the list. So what I'll do is I will order it from number 5 all the way to number 1, and then I'll try to briefly talk about what the books are about. So number 5 on the list is one that I actually own, and that's A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. So this is a historical fiction set in early 1920s Brooklyn, and it centers around a young girl named Francie. And this is a book that I've heard a lot about from Katie here on her channel Life Between Words. She did a buddy read of this book, and I have heard nothing but good things about it. I think this is one of her favorite books, and so I'm really excited that it's on my shelves. I hope to get to this one maybe around the fall. There's just something about this cover that makes me think of autumn, so we will see what I think when I get to it. I also own number 4 on the list, and that's The Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov. And this is another book that I will be getting to this year. It's on my 2018 TBR list. This is a book that was written during Stalin's reign, and it is set in Moscow and Jerusalem, and one of the main characters is the devil. That's pretty much all I know about this book. Ever since I found out about the premise, I just knew that I had to read it. So I really hope to get to this one late summer. And yeah, I'm just glad that I have it sitting on my shelves and I can get to this one sooner rather than later. Number 3 is The Boys in the Boat by Daniel James Brown. This is a nonfiction book. It centers around the American rowing team in the 1936 Olympics, which were in Berlin. And I have heard nothing but great things about this book. They always say if you enjoyed Unbroken, or if you enjoyed something similar to Unbroken, then you would love this book. And so since I loved Unbroken, I cannot wait to get to this one. I also don't really know a lot about the 1936 Olympics or rowing as an Olympic sport in general. I've heard that it's really inspirational and well written, and people just rave about this book. And then number 2 is a memoir, and that's Born a Crime by Trevor. This is a memoir that I've been wanting to get to for a really long time, but the wait list at my library is insane. So this is the one that I think that I should buy a physical copy for myself, just because I really want to get to it sooner rather than later. Although I have heard that the audiobook is excellent and that Trevor narrates it himself, and so I really want to get to it. I even might use like an Audible credit, which I never do because the wait list is just so long. And then the highest rated on my list is one that really surprised me, because it's a genre that I never read, and it's a book that I don't hear that much about, period. So what are the chances that that's the highest rated on my list, right? And that one is Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. And like I said, this is a Western saga. I think this book is the 2nd or the 3rd in a series. It's a very long book, but it is the highest rated on my list. I've only heard about this book once, and that was from Ashley. She has a channel here called Climb the Stacks, and this was like early on in her channel that she read this book and talked about it, and ever since then I just kind of forgot about it because I haven't heard about it from anywhere else. But yes, that's one that's number 1 on my list, so I really want to give it a try. If you read this book, let me know what you thought about it, because like I said, I don't really know that much about this book or the Western genre in general. The only author that I know of that does kind of the Western genre in a more modern way is Cormac McCarthy, and so he's just such a unique author. I don't think he can really be compared with anybody else. So I'd be really curious to hear if anybody has read this book and, you know, what you thought about it. So those are the 5 highest rated books on my TBR. I thought that this was a really cool way to look at my TBR. I also thought it was interesting how, as I was reading the synopsis of these books, I was like, these are books that I think I would really enjoy. And so that's really exciting to know that a lot of people ended up loving them as well. Let me know down in the comments if you've read any of these or what your highest rated books are. If you've read Lonesome Dove, I would love to hear about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.